The roast dinner was whopper tonight, Carl, thanks.
What do you have to say about the dinner?
I actually wasn't going to say anything about
What's
the
wrong?
dinner. I have a little bit of a scratch at the back of my throat. I had to take a
Did you?
cetirizine, yeah.
For the garlic?
Well, we didn't know if there was garlic or not, but because you cooked the stuffed pork in with the potatoes, it's a bit of a scratch. And not a cough scratch.
Have we ever gotten into properly how badly allergic to garlic you are?
No, but maybe that's something that we properly need to discuss.
Okay.
Not now, because it'll take forever.
Okay, next week's episode, we're
Next week's
100%
episode,
going to
we
the
will
garlic
talk
story.
about the garlic story.
Okay, well, in the meantime, let's get into this week's episode.
Da, 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 da. This week on the pod, we explain why we've been missing for the last week. We have a bit of life news, don't we, Carl?
We do. And also, we'll be chatting about how we've delved into the lyrics of a song our kids have been listening to. And a lot of you probably have kids listening to this same song. And quite frankly, they're absolute filth.
An absolute abomination. They're filthy.
Filth!
Let's get into it.
Well, welcome back to another episode of How Are You, Lovie? A brand new year.
2026.
2026. Now, obviously, we weren't here last week. We had intended on being here last week. So this is our first episode of 2026. It'll become kind of clear as to why we weren't
Yes,
here
we were a
last
bit
week.
delayed starting the new year, weren't we, Carl?
Absolutely. And, because when we started this, the plan was every single week, uninterrupted. We wanted to keep going. But do you know what? Sometimes life happens.
Life happens.
Things happen.
But we did keep going.
We
There
did.
was still an episode.
We had a best of.
Yes.
Thanks to Auntie Emma, who
Yeah.
edited it together for us. So.
She's a whopper.
Which was also very nice. It's kind of mad, like looking back and going, Jesus Christ, like we've 6 months of a podcast done.
Yeah, so it was
Nuts.
quite nice. It was actually giving me a little bit of a laugh during the week. It was needed, so it was nice.
Yes. Well, okay. I suppose let's get straight into it. On that note, Ash, how are you, Lovie?
I'm whopper, Carl, now.
Yeah.
Don't look at me with those eyes.
Yeah, I know.
No, I suppose, look, I suppose we have to just get into it. We missed last week. We're a bit late off the year in 2026. I'm going to cry already. I'm
It's
sorry.
okay. It's all right.
We missed last week. We kind of were a bit late into 2026 because my dad passed away on the 31st. And I think it's probably a little bit harder to say out loud to people that don't know. And I suppose in the interest of being transparent, the whole point of this podcast is to talk about the ups and the downs. And I suppose from early onset December, my dad got quite ill. And he was in hospital for the beginning of December. So we had quite a quick bit of time with him while he was sick. And unfortunately, he lost his battle on the 31st of December. So bit of a weird Christmas, but also a lovely Christmas as well at the same time. And yeah, that's kind of where we are. That's why we missed last week. Because we had that and the funeral to kind of contend with. But so yeah, that's kind of how our week went. And I don't want to break down to a bag of tears and a bag of snots because you know me.
No, I know. You don't like it. And like the other thing that's worth saying is your dad was a
very private man
profoundly
as well.
private
Yeah.
man as well. And I know like that's very important to you now as well. But I think we did discuss this before we started today's episode and we were like, look, do you want to say anything at all?
Yes, and I do think it's important because I mean, the whole point of doing this podcast is about our ups and downs. We have a lot of ups. We also have the shitty downs as well. I mean, like, we do argue we're a couple.
Yeah.
But then we also have the smack you in the face, hold on to your life, and life is also changed in an instant moments. And I think that's what happened to us and our family on New Year's Eve.
Yeah.
So we kind of had a slower start into the new year. It was nice in one way as well because there was a lot of family around, and I think it's a nice way to start off the year when you have a lot of your family and friends around.
Yeah.
So there's a positive out of that situation. Like, look, we're very much in the early days of this, but what I will say, like, there's people have spoken about. I mean, and I've had grief before. Like, I've lost people before, but never to this extent where you've lost 50% of you. And I said it to my mom the other day. I was like, I'm not going through this again, Mom, so I'll prefer to go before you. Why did I do this without doing tissues? So look, there's that element as well. but we all have to go through it. Do you know the way? As in, that's kind of where we're at. But I mean, even with talking to people in work and the job that I do, I've spoken about grief before with them. But this time, I've very much felt that whole parallel and running in a parallel world.
So what do you mean by
So that my body is here and I can see it functioning and I'm doing things, but I can also see another side of me where it's just running concurrent and I'm in this other, like, completely outer, it's like an outer body experience and your life is running parallel alongside you.
Yeah.
So it's a state of disbelief, really. And I definitely felt that at the early part of last week. And then I definitely felt I was emailing one of the people from yoga, and I just kind of said, like, I said, my head, I feel like I'm floating and threading in water at the moment. And I said, and sometimes this big wave takes me. And then I'm in that wave drowning at that time. And then it goes and I'm back to treading water. So I've definitely had those moments. I found the weekend quite difficult. I said, because on Sundays I would normally ring my dad. I was at a yoga course on Sunday, and normally on the way home from that I'd ring him. So little things like that, dog walks with Angie, I normally ring him on that. Like, that's when I would ring him. There were my times to ring him. So there's been a few times as well with the kids where you're taking pictures and you're like, I'd normally just fire pictures off to dad. Kind of, that was how I'd communicate with him, and that's how I'd get my responses back. But so look, there's elements that, you know, it takes a bit of getting used to. You have to break the habit, isn't it? So I'm very much in the early days of this. But that's where we are at the moment. I mean, there's some funny stories out of the week as well, but I'm also giving you time to weigh in here, Carl.
No,
because you've been silent.
I know. I suppose the thing about this is, like, I don't know what you're going through. That's the thing. As in, it's kind of the only thing I can do at the moment is, like, be here as your husband and, like, try and be as supportive as possible. But but, like, it is funny, you know, even when you're saying things like, you know, living in a parallel. I'm sure any of you who are listening who've experienced, you know, grief of this extent might identify with that. But, you know, I'm very lucky in that I've, like, you know, in terms of my family, I've lost grandparents, but they were a great age and they were, you know.
And I'm still very lucky. I have my both sets.
Yeah, you've all your grandparents. Yeah.
Firing away. So, I mean, this situation was a bit horrible for my dad's parents because they've lost a son.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's probably the more upsetting part, because you realise the gravity of that situation for them. Yeah. You know, that way. And that's horrific for them. But equally horrific for us, you know. I mean, like, there's multiple parts here and multiple stakeholders in lives. If I was thinking of my business head at work, there's different stakeholders to everybody. So,
well, and I think that for me anyway is, you know, bar just being here to try and support you through this, I think it's, you know, because it was one of those things that, like, stopped us in our tracks. Sometimes you have these moments in life where something stops you in your tracks, and it does make you reevaluate all these different things. And there's so many different things it's made me think about, you know, things as simple as, like, I know it's a grim thought, but the two of us were talking about, like, a will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Things like, you know, okay, actually, like, if something was to happen, like, what is the sequence of how you want things to go? And all of these kind of things that you put to the back of your head that you never want to think about, that actually just land front and center. And then things like, as well, we had to really think about, like, how do we approach this with Davey? Yeah. Because he's...
And I did approach it. I got a call on the 24th of December. And that was the call that kind of kick-started everything, like having to ring the family and things like that. But it was from then that I was like, because Davey was very much aware that his granddad was in hospital and that he wasn't able to go in and see him. So, I mean, I did initiate the start of that with him on the, I think it was the 26th. I think I let Christmas Day pass. But again, it's the language that you use around it, and he understands the fact that he is gone, and he understands, I mean, his words were, he's not going to be here to be your daddy anymore. So I was like, yeah, but he'll still be around. So and he understands. I don't think he understands the finality of it, but he understands that he's gone. He understands that he was in the coffin, and he understands that we were celebrating him as well. So. Yeah, and I think it's like, I mean, Ayla wouldn't have a bean. What's going on?
It's funny, like, I think she knew something was up. She just didn't understand quite what it was.
And I think that was probably the harder part for me over the last month was like you're given your time to go in. Like as in I was with, like you go in and you give them all your time, do you know that way? But I definitely in the last 2.5 weeks I was very much aware of the kids were missing me as well. And I found that hard because a lot of the time I didn't want to show them like my wave taking me over grief, but I did want to let them know that I was sad. So it was just trying to juggle when things were too much and figure out, okay, look, do you know what? I can do this on my own today. But like, I'm very grateful for having you in that regard because you were very good. You took the time off work as well, but you were there, do you know that way? And you were present and you were very good at my mum, my sister and the rest of my family. And like that, you were the communicative tool with all of my pals. Like some of my pals were ringing, you'd be like, I just want to speak to her. And you would kind of be the segue for that. Like, do you want a phone call? And the other way. So you were very good at managing that. But look, we're very much in the early stages. And we're at the point of trying to claw everything and kind of go through everything and figuring out where we are without him not being here. Do you know the way? I think that's the bigger part. It's going to be like an episode of Misery. My mother's never allowed to leave me. Stephen King style. Yeah. But, or equally my sister. Whatever about you, Carl. I mean, the mortgage will be paid off if you...
Cue Ash tomorrow, bumping up my life insurance policy. No, like, I mean, that was probably one of the things, the way you always try and find the light in like a dark kind of time. And that was one of the things that we said, like, oh, in some ways, like, thank God it happened when it did at Christmas, because it was the first Christmas in
all the aunties were home.
Ever, I think. Yeah. We had all the aunties home, and thank God your sister was home. Yeah. Because your sister lives abroad. And it wasn't
both of your sisters live abroad, and actually this Christmas, it was the first year my sister's been home in 8 years for Christmas. Yeah. She normally comes home just after, so she was here, and that was her plan prior to everything kicking off in December. So that was all her plan. But yeah, like there's pros and cons to that, because God love my poor sister, like she landed in, and then we kind of kicked straight into we need to get these bits done and we need to spend time here and things like that. So I do feel sorry for my sister, because I feel like she wasn't in her home and in her comfort. But look, we're all at that part of figuring it out.
And that's it. Like, I mean, I remember a few years ago we had a friend who lost a parent, and I remember having kind of long chats with them, and I remember the way he put it to me was that you don't ever stop missing someone. You don't ever stop grieving. You just learn to live with it.
You live to learn and cope with it better. Like grief is, and I remember that from learning this with college, it is all about the coping part and how you deal with that coping part. I mean, I've had bereavement counselling from a loss years ago. And it's about how you cope with that and how you deal with that. So it's about getting your mechanisms right for that. But like, if you're also not aware of that, so this time around I'm a lot more aware of my emotions, and I can call what emotions are what. So like, there's times where like, okay, I know that's just anxiety. Like, I know like the beating of my heart, like I knew that's what that was, and I can call a spade for a spade. But I do think many years ago I wouldn't have been as aware of my emotions, and that's where I think of like, younger than me. So like 20-year-olds, teenagers, they aren't aware of their emotions, and even like younger kids as well. Like thinking of Davey's age, like they aren't aware of their emotions and how to try and teach them to navigate that better. And if I think of like as a teenager, like there's nothing out there unless you have to go seeking it. But then equally, if you're with someone that has also had that loss, they're not going to be aware of how they're not going to be aware of how to look after you as well. So it's just about finding the right support and who your support mechanism is as well.
Well, that for me is like probably the most comforting thing in all of this, because like you said there, like people have been getting in touch with me, making sure you're all right, like your friends and your family. And again, in terms of like reevaluating things and where you're at in your life, it's made me kind of go like, Jesus, we're so lucky that, like we have some unbelievable friends. Yeah. Like, I mean, they literally would die for you. Like,
no, and equally I would do that for them. Yeah. And I think I said that at some point during the week. I mean, a couple of my friends swooped in and looked after another person for me, or just stood with them, not looked after, but stood with them. By the way, Carl, you did a fabulous job at babysitting the kids during the last 2 weeks. You were fabulous. But
I don't like this term babysitting the kids.
But I mean, I wrote it down here. I mean, I have whopper friends, and those friends are effectively, and I said it to you and my mum, they're literally the extension of my body. Like, they are my left arm. I wouldn't say right, because I kind of feel like your left is part more so with your graw, like your your love. I'd always think of my left arm. So a lot of my pals, like my good girl pals, they are an extension of my left arm, and I really felt like they have a lot of stuff going on as well, but they were there like the whole time, like on the phone, no matter what time of day or night. They were cooking dinner. Like, there was one of them that made a fabulous spaghetti bolognese. I actually messaged her tonight because you were making a spaghetti bolognese, and I said,
I actually tried to make it more like her.
I know, and I said that to her. It was fabulous, wasn't it?
She made. Do you know what it was? Oh, well, I think what it was.
We think she puts more meat.
She put
in.
loads of mince into it. It was absolutely savage. Divine. She must have cooked it really slowly. But
that was the first meal. The first bit of proper food I ate. Your mum made cabbage.
Yeah.
And she gave me a whole Pyrex dish of cabbage. Now, I ate about 5 spoons of it, but that was whopper.
First thing you ate,
that was the first proper thing I ate. And then the following day was her spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah.
And I didn't eat all of it, but I knew the taste was there, and I'm like, that's amazing. But no, it just really shows you who's there. I mean, I have a whopper godfather, I have whopper cousins, whopper friends. Yeah. I mean, I've just a whopper family. And when they're there, they're there. Do you know, it's fabulous. And we've got a lovely, a longer extension to that. Do you know, so I'm very grateful for the people that we do have. Like, we come from a trad family as well. So, I mean, I put the text out to some of my friends, and they were there playing at the ceremony. Like, anything we asked for, we had people there for, and I can only hope that I can return the favour someday for them. But look, it is what it is. But there were some funny moments as well. Yes. I'm going to read out some of these funny moments because, I mean, they actually gave light to my week.
Right.
So the day of the funeral, and I had said, Carl, it was about a week because of the 2 bank holidays.
Hang on, is this about to be like a funeral edition of Sniper Alley?
No, it's about a week. It's about a week of stuff.
Okay.
But the day of the funeral, I had said earlier on during the week, Carl, you know, are you sorted? Do you need to get anything? And you're like, yeah, no, I'm fine. I'm fine.
Yeah. Clothes-wise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Carl was fine until the day before the removal. Carl decided he needs to go to Marks and Spencer's. Fair enough. Off we went. And I needed stuff as well, so that suited me. And then the day of the funeral, he said to me, I need to go to the dry cleaners. Now, I was like, oh, right. Okay. That's fine.
Whoa, hang on a minute. It was in the afternoon. We had plenty of time. I know,
but you did say that Carl, my father has just died. Please.
You can't be throwing that around the place.
So he had said to me, I was going to get my dad to do it. And I was like, you're wearing your eyeballs. You're totally going to pick it up. Anyway, you go into the dry cleaners. They were taking a while because they also lost something else that we still haven't got back yet. But I said to him, we're right beside a chemist. Will you go in and get Calpol? Because like that, the kids were also just, I'm like, is it that they're acting up or is there something looming?
Yeah.
So I said, I want to get Calpol just to make sure they're okay. And you walked into the chemist and so that was the first time I saw the back of you. And I'm like, he hasn't even brushed his hair this morning.
No, I looked desperate.
You looked desperate.
I really did.
And I was sitting there going, oh my God, I'm going to absolutely murder him. So he walked in. I just, all under my breath.
I knew I had to go home and shower.
I know. The bed hair was there. Right, it was grand. He walked up to the chemist. I'm sitting in the car with Ayla and Baby, and Davy was in school. And I just whispered in my breath. He was getting, someone from the chemist recognised him. So I could see him.
A lovely woman as well.
I could see Carl getting a photo.
On
the day of my dad's funeral.
She asked if she mind getting a selfie. And I was
like, Carl was getting a picture. So I could see this. And then under my breath, I go, the state of you. Right? Forgetting that Ayla's behind me. And she goes, state of you. And I was like, oh, do you know. So then I was like, do you know what you need to say, Ayla? State of your da. Yeah. So the minute he got into the car, what did she say?
State your da.
Yeah. So that was the morning of. What else was there then? I mean, the last thing my dad heard from the kids.
Oh, yeah.
So during the Christmas, just before Christmas kicked off, Carl was taking something out of the oven.
Oh, Jesus.
And he burnt his hand.
Yeah.
And, oh, fuck, comes out.
And it was a genuine and instinctive.
Yeah.
I went, oh, fuck it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The following morning, I'm sitting on the couch with the kids, all snuggled up. We're watching a nice Christmas movie. And all of a sudden, Davey goes, oh, fuck. And I was like, I just can't react to this.
Yeah.
But then Ayla chimes in the most dub accent. Ah, fuck. Ah, fuck. And we were like, just don't react.
She was
Just
doing a
keep
particular
watching.
venom.
Yeah.
She would like, do you know the way...
She got the context of it.
Do you know the way in Titanic when Jack and Rose are spitting off the side of it and they like arch their neck back?
The Golliers.
That's how she'd be like, fuck!
Yeah.
That's how
And it's the fuck. So we took a video of her saying that. And the whole time we're like, no, we're watching Harry. I think we're watching Harry Potter.
Yeah.
And I was like, no. Sorry, that's real hypocritical of me to say we were watching Harry Potter when I said it wasn't a Christmas movie. But I was watching it for comfort. I was watching Harry Potter for comfort. And we were like, no, he said a fox. Look, there's a fox up there. We were trying everything to be like, let's not draw attention to this. And
I think we actually did mention this a couple of weeks ago, just about the off fuck.
Did we?
We did, very briefly, because remember Dad had come up to the car, yes.
Anyway, so I took a video and then I was in the hospital the day before he passed. The day before he passed, yes. And I played him the video.
Yeah.
So the last thing my dad heard come from his granddaughter's mouth was, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, that's funny. The other thing that would have brought life into me this week was Ayla has got such an obsession with soda pop. So she wants to be a Saja boy.
So this is from K-Pop Demon Hunters.
Oh.
If anyone's kids are watching it, Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
It was on repeat. To the extent that it was on so much that it actually took me out of my grief to be like, this is fucking driving me insane. So, I mean, I take that as that's
did
a bit of
service.
Oh, it did me service.
I need to talk about soda pop in a minute. But
You do. I'm trying to think, was there anything else? Okay, I suppose when it comes to my dad, someone pointed out to me that who listens to the podcast, they were like, Aisling, the shoes on the stairs comes directly from your dad. And they said, if you know your dad, he literally, and the way he does his shoes, I think the way you do your shoes, because they're so big,
Yeah.
because you've a deficit with something else, so you have to have big shoes, right? So because they're so big, they are a trip hazard. But Dad used to have boat shoes, so he could put them on top of each other. So my runners would definitely be of that same premise, right?
Okay.
So he would always put shoes on the stairs. So once someone said that to me, like, oh my goodness, you're getting that from your dad. And I was like, do you know what? You're right. I have that from my dad. Yoga, I mean, I picked yoga up because of my dad, because he was being a bit of a pain in the hole. And I picked it up to be able to work through my emotions with him. So yoga I picked up from Dad. What else did I get from Dad, Carl? I mean, there's probably a few things.
Ash,
my love for garlic, and then potentially that's probably why I'm so allergic to it now.
Yeah.
My love for horror movies definitely comes from Dad.
Absolutely.
Love at the Sea would be from Dad as well. Like Dad worked with the Coast Guard. So it was lovely, and the Coast Guard men were there at the funeral as well. So look, it was whopper. It was a lovely service for him. Yeah. So that explains why we haven't been here this week. Yeah. But anyway.
Well, look, no, fair play, because I know, like, we kind of spoke beforehand about whether you wanted to even mention that at all. So,
yes.
Yeah, fair play. All right. Well, look, we will move on then. But just
tell me about your week with babysitting the kids, Carl.
I wasn't babysitting.
How are you, Lovie?
I wasn't babysitting the kids. I am absolutely putting an end to this terminology. I had a lovely week with the kids. Like, I mean, it was funny. They were like a bit
aware
all over the shop.
Yeah,
and they definitely were aware. But it's like you were saying there. It's like it was strangely still quite a nice Christmas. Like, we got to do some lovely things and having the time with family and all of that stuff. And I know I mentioned it on the episode just before New Year's. Like, one of my favourite parts of the entire Christmas was having dinner in your mum's house.
Yeah.
And sitting down and watching Die Hard.
Yeah.
And like, when it was more when we were doing the gifts and your mum, Jesus Christ, me and your mum.
You did talk about this, how close you and Mum are. You make me
sick.
We've
actually gotten closer.
I know you have. You actually have. My sister and I were saying it. We were like, she talks more to him than what she talks to us. So we think in the tier of things, it probably goes Mum, Carl, and then her two daughters.
Well, no, you go your mum, obviously top of the pyramid, then the grandkids, then me,
no, because no. Well, no, I think it's you first. Then I think it's myself and Kira. Then I think she has Davy. And then I think she's Ayla and Bavin. Because
the grandkids are definitely ahead of you and Kira.
Well, maybe Davy, because when she looks at Ayla, she's like, Ayla's damaged.
You know what? So funny. I realised that Ayla must be absolute carnage because of how your mum is. Because anytime we ever leave the kids with your mum, because your mum is amazing with the kids. She's just very unflappable.
Yes.
And like, we're very lucky as in both sides of the family. Like, we've great support there. But your mum would be very unflappable. And only recently, because Ayla is proper terrible twos territory.
She's
at the moment.
She's not bad. Terrible twos. It's not even that. I think she's so
chaos.
on the move. No, yeah, she's so on the move, and she fires off on all cylinders. So you're trying to keep her with you, like even for sitting down and things like that, to have a dinner. And because if Davy gets up, she's like, oh my god, I need, like, the other way.
Move.
So we're at that stage of tag teaming at dinner. And since we started tag teaming, it actually works out really well.
It's fine.
Like dinners are seated again, but it was just finding what pattern works for Ada to keep her engaged at dinner time. Sorry, I burped there.
It's so funny. Your mom, like, whenever we come back from her having the kids, she'd be like, oh Jesus, she's a mentaler. She's a nut job. I'm like, yes. So it's not just us. Do you know Ayla she invented a new game today. Which you're going to. It's called Saja Boys Falling Off Their Bike.
Oh, right.
So
that's why I came home and she was on her bike.
Came home.
Right.
So I was like getting dinner ready tonight, and then you were gone out. You were walking and you were dropping something down to one of our friends' houses.
Yeah.
And I was just like, do you know what? The two of them are having a laugh.
Can I just say, aren't you fantastic?
I'm not looking for a clap on the back.
The kids. He was getting the dinner ready. The dinner I'd already prepared. Getting the dinner already.
No, you hadn't.
Sorry.
No, you hadn't. You prepared some of it. You peeled the potatoes. And
chopped the veg, boiled the potatoes. All you had to do was put the rest in the oven.
Yeah, sorry. But hang on a minute. I would have been glad to do it.
No, that's fair enough. I was helping you out. So anyway, but pat yourself in the back there, Carl.
I'm not patting myself in the back.
Was getting the dinner ready.
This is something that can stay in 2025.
Go on.
You putting it upon me that I'm patting myself on the back. I'm like, I'm literally not. I'm literally telling you what was going on.
Well, Carl did tell me that he washed the toilet and the one upstairs, and then to give himself a pat on the back. I changed the towel as well, Aisling. Well done. I mean, we've been how many years in the house? But if it's taken you 6 years to change the bathroom towel after you washed it,
so much.
Well done.
So
Carl.
much harder to clap back at you at the moment. I'm just like,
right, go on.
Give her space. Give her space. No,
sorry, but continue your story.
Anyway,
she was doing the Saja boy bike.
She came up with this game, so she was like, Davey, let's get our bikes. So the two of them got their bikes, and she's like, this is the Saja boys falling off their bikes. So they'd have to cycle along and then pretend to fall off their bikes.
Oh, that's why she was doing it.
And then she would lie on the ground like, the Saja. So sorry, if anyone isn't aware, the Saja boys are characters in K-pop Demon Hunters. And
they're the demons.
Ayla's obsessed with them.
Yeah.
Obsessed. Davey's obsessed with Rumi, who's part of Huntrix.
They're the demon hunters.
Yeah.
Whereas Saja boys are the demons.
So Ayla is obsessed with the Saja boys. So she'll like just lie on the ground and be like, Saja boys fell off her bike. And then Davey will do the same. And then they'll get up.
Go again.
And they'll go another round around the island. And then they'll fall off the bike and do it again. Speaking of K-pop Demon Hunters though, because like you said as well, the theme of the last few weeks has been the soundtrack, weirdly, to Christmas and this kind of really difficult time.
Yes.
Has been soda pop.
Predominantly soda pop.
From K-pop Demon Hunters. So again, if anyone's kids are watching it, you'll know what we're talking about.
Pop.
But we've listened to it so much because a lot of the times the kids are listening to music and
Yes.
you're just like, whatever, you just put it on, it keeps them happy, fine. But it's been on so many times, I've been like starting to like listen to the lyrics.
And learn the words. You learn the dance moves as well, Carl?
Not the dance moves,
Okay.
just the words. Have you?
Well, you were telling me some of this, so go on, continue. You were telling me some of these words during the week.
Sorry, I don't mean to be a prude. But
Go
I'm
on,
like,
be prude, Carl. Be prude.
are you fucking joking me?
So tell me what our 2-year-old is singing.
So, okay, so the idea is it's kind of like, you're my soda pop, my little soda pop, okay?
Yeah.
But there's a bit in it where it gets into a rap, okay? And it's like, my little soda pop. And it goes, make me want to flip the top. You hit the spot, okay? Every little drip and drop, fizz and pop, it's getting hot. I'm sipping when it's dripping now. It's done. I need a second round and pour a lot and don't you stop till my soda pop fizzles out. He's fucking talking about ejaculation. This is for, oh my God.
I don't care once he's wearing a condom.
Jesus Christ.
You know.
I was in the car and I was like, am I hearing this?
And here she's trying to learn the words as well.
Am I hearing this? Till my soda pop fizzles out.
I told you before about
Talk
one
about
of
blowing his
when
load.
we just had Davy, and one of the women in work who has 3 daughters, what someone like her husband's friend said to them.
What was this?
So we didn't have any girls at this stage. And one of the women worked says, I'm going to tell you something. That, you know, when you have a boy.
Oh, yes.
Remember this?
Yeah.
When you have a boy, you only need to worry. I'm going to use the word Mickey. Okay? You only need to worry about one Mickey.
Yeah.
Okay? When you have a girl, you have to worry about 5 billion Mickeys. And it took me a while to get it, but I was like, oh my God, it's so right.
Yeah.
So our 2-year-old is learning this from a very early age, Carl.
Jesus. Like, well, obviously, thank God it goes over their head. But I was just like, how did that get clearance? For a children's movie. Like, I can't believe they probably, the person who wrote that was like, yeah, here's the song for approval. And then they came back and they were like, yeah, thumbs up, love it, sounds good. And they're like, holy fuck, they fell for it.
When we were at the Five I went to the Five concert with some of the girls during just before December. I'm going to get some of the lyrics here, right? 5 lyrics. 3 seconds.
Sorry, I'm actually going to read more of these while you're getting those. You're all I can think of, every drop I drink up. You're my soda pop, my little soda pop. Cool me down, you're so hot. Pour me up, I won't stop. You're my soda pop, my little soda pop. Tell me this. Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're my soda pop. Got to drink every drop. Maybe I'm completely reading into this the wrong way, but I really don't think I am. Jesus, Mary and Joseph. Anyway.
So, like, when we were all listening, I went to Five with some of the girls from college there in last year, 2025. And when we listened to Five as kids, you'd be singing it away. So we probably would have been 12, 13. Probably a little bit younger than that, okay?
Yeah, possibly.
But when we were singing it at the concert, I was like, oh my goodness. Like the stuff, like, maybe we were probably younger, let's be realistic.
Is it as bad as soda pop?
Probably not, but like, for the age we were at, probably between 9 and 12 we're singing these words.
Yeah, yeah.
And when I was singing there at the concert, I was like, I cannot believe that I was listening to this or singing this at the time, right? So, when the lights go out, for example, all right?
What's that go like?
Baby, when the lights go out.
Chill.
Okay. So every word cannot express the love and tenderness. I'll show you what it's all about. Babe, I swear you will succumb to me. So baby, come to me when the lights go out. Okay. Then it goes, that chorus is repeated quite a lot. The bridge is recorded, right? And then it goes, it's a blackout. Girl, the lights are off. I can feel you getting closer. Now take your clothes off. Your body looks so soft in between the sheets. I lay you down. I want to knock your socks off. Knock your frock off. Girl, I'm down for whatever. Like, but when I was listening to this, I was like, I was sitting there being like,
basically
knocking my flock off.
Like, as close as saying I'm about to hockey out of it.
Yeah. And here we are, as between 9 to 12-year-olds being like, baby, when the lights go out. Like, now there was loads more, but I was like, oh my goodness.
This
so
is
there
about
you go.
one of the lads from Five horsing someone out of it.
Exactly. And like, we were all sitting there back in our youthful years being like, oh my God, I love it. Sorry, Jay. In regards to Five, Jay has aged perfectly.
There's some people like this in boy bands
Yes.
that they age incredibly well. Gary Barlow's another one.
Gary Barlow has aged, but yeah. So yeah, he looks the exact same. Well, apart from being a
No,
little
but
bit
he
more
actually
youthful.
he looks better.
He does look
as
better.
He's gotten older.
Equally, Jay has as well. And Jay and who's the other fella? There was another fella. Oh, AJ. Oh, beautiful man.
Do you know who's?
But no, you can also see how much they carry the band. Like the one thing about Five, I will say, and I will give them credit. Whatever about the bangers they had, the dancing with every single song.
They proper danced.
Proper dance. Like they give you a show, all right. What?
What the lads up doing the helicopter on the stage?
I'll succumb to him. What? You can take my flock off, Jay. But in comparison to Westlife will do the Uptown Girl, and then they'll do their little walk, twirl at the top of the stage, and come back and sit in the chair in their suits.
Or they stand up from the stool.
Yeah, and do a key change. The lads did their key changes all while hopping and dancing from start to finish, from the beginning of the show to the end of the show. Brilliant.
Yeah. Do you know
But
what?
it was absolute nostalgic cringe, but it was brilliant.
Whenever you say Five, I just think of Coppers, like 3
Oh,
o'clock
the
in the morning,
medley?
the mega mix.
Yes.
The Five mega mix.
mix.
It was. You always knew it was like that was their way of being like, yeah, right there, folks, please, thank you. It was like one of the last things they play of the night.
Baby, when the lights come on.
That's it. Yeah, exactly.
Did anybody knock your flock off, Carl and Coppers?
No.
Okay.
I never kissed anyone in Coppers actually. I didn't like Coppers.
I know you didn't, yeah.
So I was, oh jeez, no. Anytime I went into Coppers, I was like, oh, get me out of here. You always, the funny thing about Coppers was, anytime I ended up in Coppers, I was like, I'm never coming back here. And then anytime you get a little bit pissed and you'd have a bit of a go and you'd be like, yeah, let's go Coppers, yeah. And you loved it.
Yeah, well, the floor.
Classic nurse.
Copper's floor is probably wet for me.
Sure.
You take that whatever way you want. Sorry. Here's me talking about Coppers in the same podcast where I say my dad. Anyway, highs and lows. Here we go. Anyway, let's get swiftly on to correspondence because that's the most important part, Carl, here of our little podcast.
How are you, Lovie at gmail.com if you want to get in touch at any point during the podcast. We'd love to hear from you.
Now, there was a good few over Christmas coming in because there's a few people that were doing a lot of catch up.
Yes.
But I'm going to talk through some of the ones that I felt were important.
Okay, go on.
Okay. So this one is from Joe. Funny enough, it came in on the 31st of December. Hi, Aisling and Carl. I've been listening to your podcast for a while now. I've been meaning to send you an email to tell you how much I've been enjoying listening to you, and I finally have 10 minutes for free, so here I am. I drive a lot to work and I always end up listening to your podcasts. You guys seem like a great couple and fabulous parents, and honestly, I feel like my relationship with my husband and my family relates so much to you guys. I always enjoyed listening to Carl on the radio, but I find it hilarious how much I'm like you, Aisling.
You mean a bitch?
I tried to get my husband to listen to the podcast, but after a few, he said he couldn't listen to it because it was exactly like me giving out to him.
Yes,
maybe Joe, maybe your husband also has ADHD. But anyway,
Joe.
In all honesty, I really enjoy how real you guys are about married life, kids, working, etc. Sometimes amongst all the social media's perfect lives, it can make you feel like everyone else is coping better with life than you are. However, your podcast have showed me that we are all in the same boat with ups and downs and chaos.
Oh, that's
which
very
is lovely
nice
because that's
to
what
hear.
we want to achieve.
Yeah, that's exactly what we want.
So thanks so much for all the great laughs and keep up the good work. Next one. This one came in from Jessica Waters. Okay. Booby obsessed baby. Need advice.
Oh.
Hello guys. I'm absolutely loving the podcast and thought you might be able to give some advice. Mostly Aisling, of course. My little lad has just turned one and is booby obsessed. He has started to slap my boobs whenever he decides he wants a feed.
Go on.
Which is nearly every hour at the moment. My
Oh,
dilemma
God.
is this. He has never slept through the night. He just wants boob. He doesn't like cow's milk either. I've been in hospital twice in the last year. I hope you're okay, by the way, Jessica. And he took formula during those times, but still fairly regularly woke during the night. I'm going for surgery in a few weeks and won't be able to do any heavy lifting for a few weeks, which will be hard enough. But also having a crazy toddler bouncing off my tits is not going to help the situation. I hear you. I originally wanted to go until he's 2, but with how obsessed he is now, I think I've got to stop it now. Any advice would be very much appreciated. Jessica.
Of course, this is your department, but like I think from your point of view, it was kind of when teeth came in, you were like, yeah, good luck.
I couldn't.
We're done. But you did, like, I mean, all three of the kids.
I've done
you
all
only, you only
three.
finished breastfeeding baby in there.
Only
very recently.
finished. I fed her for the longest. Davy, I had to feed because I was having a biopsy, or I had to stop because I was having a biopsy. I had a lump on my boob at that point, so I was having a biopsy. So I had to stop at him at, I think it was 8 months.
Yeah.
Ayla, what did I do with Ayla? I brought her up to 7 months, 8 months. No, she was 9 months. And I think, when her teeth came in, and like that,
She loved biting.
She was a biter, and I did the whole thing of like, you take them
Like a
off
daddy.
the boob.
Yeah.
You do realise my mother watches this on YouTube.
Sorry.
Sorry, Mum.
I couldn't resist. Go on. Sorry, it was very inappropriate. Fucking hell. This has been a roller coaster of an episode.
So she bit, and I was like, no, I can't do this. With bathing, she was just so easy with breastfeeding that I just was happy to continue it on. But she actually came off herself.
Yeah.
So she just was like, no, actually, do you know what? I don't want the boob anymore. And like, I was happy to continue it on. In saying that, I would love, like I've always envisaged, you know what, I'm going to go back to work and come home and give the evening feed. I've just never had that opportunity to.
Yeah.
So I do, like, I mean, Jessica, it is a hard one because I know you probably want to keep them on the boob, but I also think, I mean, it's important. Well-fed baby is well-fed. He's 1, he's eating. He is well-fed. He doesn't necessarily need your boob anymore. this is where I hate having to talk to parents. I find this is such an area where you have to be so delicate with this. But it sounds to me, and this is where I could be wrong, but complete presumption, but it sounds to me like he's going on the boob for comfort. So that's where I would say you need to mind yourself, mind your nips, and protect yourself, and slowly start to take him off the boob from a comfort point of view.
So what would be your advice be there in terms of like, okay, she decides that
find
she wants...
other soothing methods for him. The other thing with him waking up overnight, see, with boys sometimes it's just so difficult because they are hungrier.
Yeah.
But I do feel like if he's getting to one, he's just at that stage where he's going to be well fed because he should be eating. He has his 3 meals, he has his snacks, so he's at that point that he definitely doesn't need anything overnight, so he should be sleeping. So this is the hard part for you sometimes, and as you said, he took formula overnight, but then we haven't had situations like that where they're waking up overnight past when they're 1 year of age.
Yeah.
So we haven't had that. But I have had some of my friends who are nurses that have gone back onto night shift. Their kids are still wanting them at night.
Yeah.
For the boob. And that's a really difficult situation. And they've had to go to work. They've just had to go. So, and the child after 1 year of age has had to learn that mom isn't there. And that is a bit cruel, but then equally that she has to look after her job as well. So, but then other people have different perspectives on that. So that's where you have to be. So if that was me, I would pull back for me, because at that stage, you've brought them up to 1 year of age.
Yeah.
And you're a priority now.
I think like the way you would have done it is you like would drop one feed first and then wait a couple of weeks and then drop another feed and then wait a couple of...
Well,
like,
at
it
the
wasn't
moment,
done very
at the moment, I'd work on the nights and I would take them off of the boob at night. I think that's the part. And I think, I mean, if he's well fed during the day, he has 3 meals, he has 2 snacks. I know with Ayla, again, both of our kids have been really difficult to go onto cow's milk. So Davy took forever to get cow's milk. But what I can say is if you can get them drinking water, so get them drinking water from the beaker, or from whatever way they drink the water, and get their daily fluid intake that way. And then in regards to their calcium, do your yogurts, do your cheese. If you want to make frozen yogurt and do it that way and give them to like an ice pop format. So do it in ways that you don't necessarily need them to drink cow's milk if you can get them drinking water.
Yes.
So get their fluid intake that way and give them their... So Ayla was really difficult with drinking cow's milk.
Yeah.
So the way I would do that is put it in the porridge in the morning. Things like that. It's just about being clever with how you get your calcium in. Like we always, like after dinner every night, she would always get a yogurt.
Yeah.
2 yogurts sometimes if she wasn't eating cheese during the day. It was just about getting the calcium intake in. If you're making bread or things like that, it's just trying to make stuff with milk in it so that she was getting that calcium hit as well. So don't be too fussed on the drinking cow's milk, because Ayla now does drink cow's milk, but it took her a whole, like until she was 2 to do that.
Yeah.
So it just, you know, the way it just depends on how you want to work that. But don't put pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
I think the main thing is just don't put pressure on yourself in regards to this situation. I think look after you. I think if you're going for surgery, get him sleeping overnight, because if you're going to be so sore after surgery, you do not want to be, or your partner does not want to be getting up overnight. So get the sleep sorted first. Pull that back, pull the feeding back overnight. He's not hungry. In my eyes, he's not hungry if he's eating 3 meals a day, 2 snacks, and you'll figure out a drinking pattern during the day with him.
Yeah, you know, you've always said, like, I mean, a lot of people say as well, you know, in order to look after kids, you have to look after yourself first. And like from the outside looking in, I will say, like, I find it quite, it must be very difficult, the pressure that's put on women around breastfeeding. Like, there's a lot of pressure.
There's a lot of pressure. But I've even said, I said it to you this year, there have been women on social media this year that have been like, it's glorious, it's fabulous. I mean, breastfeeding, oh la la la. It is so fucking hard.
Yeah.
It is so fucking hard. And then they have pressure then to say if they're not doing breastfeeding, for some reason they feel online that they have to give a reason as to why they're not breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off, because I'm just like, fed is best. So I would say breastfed is best. Fed is best.
Yeah.
And once you're sleeping and you're eating as much as you can, that's what the important part is. Yeah. I hate this fear mongering about it. We, as a nurse, you get trained how to do, like, you know, get the, especially as a peds nurse, you're like, you know, this is where you put the baby on the boob and you have to encourage, and breastfed is best. And being a first time mum with Davy, I went after Davy, I was like, I feel so hypocritical with how I've spoken to some like I haven't spoken to them in a hypocritical way, but having not experienced it prior to that, I was like, I had no right to speak to them.
You had only given birth like an hour or two, and someone came in, and in fairness, like they didn't.
She was
mean any
young.
harm,
She was a student.
but she literally came in and quite literally tried to milk your tits.
She was milking my. You were falling asleep at the end of the bed.
That didn't go down well either.
Yeah.
But like I remember, like it was painful. And
no, it wasn't painful. I was just like,
you were uncomfortable.
Because I was like, I just need a shower. And she was kept saying, you've got inverted nipples. I'm like, I don't. I'm just hot and sweaty and bothered. I need a shower, and I know my nips will be fine to feed.
Yeah.
And then
just
I got told I've got low supply. And then later on, another lactation consultant came in the following day, and it was during COVID, so you had very little people around.
Yeah.
And I never cried so much and hugged someone that I did not know, apart from Rosie, that lactation consultant in Hollis Street. She was whopper. And she was like, who told you that? And like, she's like, no. She's like, your first time mom's everything's going to take longer. So give yourself some credit. I was like, okay, thank you so much, Rosie. Yeah. But it is so hard. It is so difficult. And when you're in the throes of it, like no one realizes when you've got a bottle fed baby, you can hand that baby off and they can be fed somewhere else.
Yeah.
When you are breastfeeding, that baby solely relies on you.
Yeah.
And it can be really hard and really difficult. Now I do use a pump, and I can do a whole thing on talking about breastfeeding and pumps and all that jazz. But my thing is, you got to be practical. You got to look after yourself, because otherwise it is a mind fuck. It's a whole other world. We've probably gone really long into this podcast.
Yeah, okay, well, we actually can do a bit
but
more
I think Jessica, you need to look after yourself. I think get the sleep sorted.
Yeah.
That baby, or he's one. He's still a baby though, a little baby boy.
I know.
He is a baby. But I think if you're happy to pull back from feeding at night, get your sleep. You also need sleep heading into surgery. So get the sleep under control if you can. He's not a hungry baby overnight. He's a boy, and I know they're hungrier, but... And then look after the cow's milk with other things. So like your cheese, your yogurts, all that jazz.
Do you know what? I sometimes forget you're a nurse. That was actually fascinating to listen to. And also, hopefully, anyway, very, very useful. But anyway, I think that's probably enough correspondence for this week.
I think so, because there's a lot more and we don't have time.
Okay, well, we'll get to more of it next week. If you do want to email us, howareyoulovie@gmail.com. It's howarea and Lovie.
Yes, at gmail.com.
So if any comments or questions or anything like that, I mean, it could be literally anything.
Yes. Don't forget to rate, review, share and subscribe as well. We always enjoy a little bit of that, and it helps us along the road.
Yes, and we'll be back with a bonus episode this Saturday, and of course normal service from now on. I was going to say apologies we missed. It's not apologies, but you know what I mean.
Yes.
We had fully intended on being back with a bang at the start of the year, but obviously life can get in the way. So fair play for doing today's episode.
Oh, thanks,
No,
Carl.
honestly.
Thanks, husband. Okay.
Fair play.
Oh, shut your face. Okay. Right, good luck. We're out of here. Thanks for listening.
Good
Bye.
luck.